Hey guys, Tacoma Cyclist here, and the Boogeyman. Do you ride in this? And I say in this, it's actually taken a break for a moment because it's been pouring rain all morning long. I know all the rumors about the Pacific Northwest, that it rains all the time, but really, it's not that bad of a rain, and we can ride outside in a lot of this. But it's cold, it's like 37 degrees, and it's been raining pretty heavily all morning long. So the question I have for you is, do you ride in this? And if not, do you ride here instead? So a lot of you are fair weather riders. Sometimes we're fair weather riders too. And a lot of us during this time of the year are going to spend a lot of time on the trainers. So what we're going to talk about today is how you actually protect your bike while it's on the trainer. Now this is something a lot of people don't give a lot of thought to because you're like, well, I'm not riding my bike outside, it's not getting all that dirty. All I got to do is occasionally wipe it down and we're all good. But that's not true. Your bike can actually suffer a significant amount of wear and tear while it's working out on the trainer, while you're working out on the trainer. And here are some tips, 5 of them to be precise, on how you can protect your bike while it's on the trainer. So that way you don't have to spend thousands of dollars in maintenance to fix the darn thing when it breaks. Tip number 1. This one's pretty obvious, but a lot of people don't do it anyway. You need to lube your chain. Nurse, lube me. I like a dry lube instead of a wet lube, specifically because, if you are riding this outdoors from time to time, or really if you're getting the chain exposed to anything and use a wet lube, it's going to transfer a lot of that gunk from the chain to the cassette. I really don't want that. So as much as humanly possible, I use a dry lube. Yeah, my chain's a little dirty right now, but with a dry lube, most of that dirt kind of just stays in place and I can easily wipe it down. With a wet lube, it gets really, really gunky. And I don't really like having to take this cassette off very often to clean it. So using a dry lube keeps me from having to do that. Yes, there's a little bit of buildup, but not a whole lot. So, every week or two, put some dry lube on your chain. If you're riding outdoors and mixing outdoors and indoors, maybe a little more frequently than that. Of course, if it's raining, a dry lube's going to wash off pretty quickly. So lube it more frequently. I happen to like Rock and Roll Gold. It's a very fast, very smooth lube. It keeps your drivetrain nice and smooth. There's lots of scientific tests to prove that it's one of the fastest lubes out there, and you can buy it in bulk, and one bulk purchase of it will last you pretty much an entire year, and then some. Lube your chain. That's tip number 1. Tip 2, have a towel. Actually, have multiple towels. Why multiple towels? Well, it's actually quite simple. First of all, when you're on the trainer, you're going to sweat. This is a relatively small pain cave. When we really work out kind of hard, we have to open that window even when it's like 35 degrees outside. Got a fan down here, he's got a fan down there, we got a fan back here. It gets hot, you're going to sweat, it's going to get gross. So have a towel and wipe your face down. But it's also important to cover the front part of your bike, the cockpit of your bike. You're going to get sweat in here, and sweat can corrode all of the important parts here, brake cables, the actual mechanical parts inside the shift levers. It gets up underneath of the bar tape, it gets up underneath of the rubber hands, the shifter grippers. It gets inside your other parts, headsets, and all that kind of stuff. So when you sweat, if you don't have this covered, then you're just going to get it, it's just going to break down. It's going to break your bike apart. So cover that. Now, why multiples? Well, it's sometimes kind of awkward to keep that covered, wipe your face, keep it covered, wipe your face. And then on top of that, honestly, there's a couple other reasons. If you have some at the ready, right there, when you're working out and you do your really big sprint effort, and then whoops, all of a sudden, your towel hits the floor. If you've got another one standing by, you don't have to disrupt your workout and get off. I've literally been known to text the Boogeyman and say, can you bring me another towel? Because I dropped my towel. And that's kind of obnoxious. But on top of that, okay, you can keep that covered and you can use this one to wipe your face. I promise you, if it's a hard workout, they're both going to get gross. Tip 3. You've already done the towel. That's a good thing. When you're done with the towel, wash it. Okay, it's going to get gross. It's going to get really, really gross. don't leave it over your bike. Now this is for a couple reasons. First of all, personal hygiene, all right? You use a towel and wipe your face on it, all that other stuff. It's gonna get gross. You need to throw it in the wash, okay? My tip, I got lots of towels. If you don't have a lot of towels, well, I mean, I'm old. I've accumulated hand towels throughout the years because that's what old people do. But you can go to Amazon and buy like a big pack of hand towels, you know, this size, just for this purpose. And then you never have to worry about accidentally mixing them in with your toilet cleaning rags too. So have a bunch of these. The other reason, and this is probably the most important part, I see this a lot. When people get done training, they take their wet towel and they do this with it. This is a really, really bad idea. Now, if the boogeyman has a towel, for example, that's not overly gross, I've seen him hang his right here. He doesn't usually keep his computer on there, so he'll hang it like that. That's not the end of the world, but when you do this, all that nasty sweat that you just sweat into this towel is sitting on your paint job, or it's sitting on your bar tape, or it's sitting on your headset, or it's sitting on your saddle. All of that stuff works its way into your bike, and it breaks it down, and it's going to corrode this stuff. So, most important thing you can do with this when you're done, toss it in the wash machine, grab another towel. I don't like to wash towels more than maybe once a week, so I've got a lot of towels. If I need to wash towels more than once a week, whatever, I'll throw them with my cycling kit. But have a bunch of towels. Tip 4, show these guys some love. Tires. If they're gonna sit in your pain cave and absorb all that nastiness, your sweat and all that stuff, you need to show them some love. Number 1, rotate them every once in a while. That goes for the one that's on the front, and that goes for the one that may be hanging up elsewhere in your pain cave. Inflate them, especially if you're running tubeless or tubular tires and you've got sealant in your tires, you need to rotate it. Otherwise that sealant's gonna harden and it's going to stay in one particular spot. And when you go to ride your bike next time, it's gonna be kind of lumpy. So you want to avoid that. Rotate them, fill them up. You don't want your tires to dry rot. So every once in a while, inspect them too. Just check, just to make sure that they haven't dry rotted. You're going to be looking for cracks in the sidewall. And your tubes, honestly, very well may dry rot as well. Especially butyl, they have a tendency to do that a little bit more than maybe latex will. Just check them. Next time you go out on the road, you really don't want to have a blowout just because you let them sit on your trainer uninflated, sealant gathering dust or drying up in the corner, and maybe even sometimes sealing up the valve. So rotate them, make sure you keep your valve stem towards the top so the sealant doesn't settle in them, and just keep them inflated and check them. It's not that hard. And my final tip is about your headset. This is one area that you generally don't see the damage that's being done until it's too late. And that's because when you're sweating over top of your bike, whether you've got a towel on or not, you're going to get sweat droplets down in here. And it doesn't take much for them to make their way down into the headset. Now, yeah, if you've got a fully carbon tube, steer tube, then you might be a little bit better off, but there's still metal hardware in here, and sweat is very corrosive. You get that down inside of here, and it's going to eat it apart from the inside out. And a lot of people don't realize this until all of a sudden their headset falls apart while they're riding, which, by the way, usually involves an accident, ambulance rides, and things of that nature. So be very careful about this. Now, the tip I have for you here is not to just watch out for this. You've got to take proactive steps to protect this. If you don't regularly disassemble your bike, this would be a great time for you to do this step. Like, watch this video and go, oh, I should go do that right now, and then go do it. Take your headset cap off. Put some grease inside of this headset cap. I like the Part Tool grease because I can get a big tub of it for like 20 bucks and it lasts you forever and ever and ever. But really, any grease that's designed to kind of repel water is going to do well. And put that grease inside here relatively liberally. You don't want it so much that you like tighten the cap down and the grease starts oozing out the sides, but you want enough grease in there that it's going to keep any moisture away from the bolt and all of the related hardware inside the headset. I can't stress this enough. This is probably the most important tip. Go do this right now. It won't cost you hardly anything, but I promise you, if that corrodes from the inside out when you're riding, you're really not going to have a good time. Ambulance rides are 500 bucks a pop. Grease is about 50 cents. So just go put some grease in there. Oh, hi, it's me again. I've got 2 additional bonus tips. These have nothing to do with taking care of your bike while you're on the trainer. They have more to do with taking care of your room, your space, keeping everything happy. Now, recognize this scene. This is the scene of the disaster after you get done training. That's gross, all right? If you just walk away from that and let it dry, that's gonna get really gross. So every once in a while, you should probably wipe that down. Just getting a towel and spreading it around, that's just spreading around grossness. I like to use kind of an all-purpose cleaner. Look at that, all-purpose. Couple sprays. Wipe that bad boy down. It's actually pretty simple. Makes your room smell nice and lavendery. Yay. Instead of like, you know, sweat and gross butts. A little bit of cleaner, long way to a nice happy environment. You can buy special purpose cleaner for this. You can get the stuff that they use in gyms to spray it down, but honestly, an all-purpose cleaner and a light rag every once in a while. I know not all of you are going to be religious about this. You're just going to walk away. You're tired after you get done working out. Maybe once a week, literally spend the 10 seconds it takes to just wipe that down. Now this is on to my last tip. Use a real trainer mat, okay? Yoga mat, probably okay too, but these are waterproof. These aren't gonna let water through, all right? Some of the yoga mats that I've seen are pretty thin, and they let water through a lot. If you like the floor below your trainer mat, you should probably use a trainer mat. The one thing I see that scares me more than anything are those interlocking things that you buy for like kids' playrooms or something, the interlocking floors. Your sweat, it's getting down into those interlocking channels and it's working its way right through into the floor. So again, if you like your floor, don't do that. That's gross. You need a solid surface mat. Now, if you don't have a solid surface mat, maybe you got a yoga mat, you're not sure if it's waterproof, maybe you've got some of those interlocking floor tiles, which are just, again, a bad idea. Put a black trash bag underneath of it. Put some a plastic painter's mat below it, okay? That's gonna keep all of your nasty, nasty sweat from going through into the floor and destroying and degrading the floor below it. If you got nasty carpet like I do, probably not the end of the world, you're just gonna rip it up. If you've got nice hardened wood or anything else underneath of there or nice carpet, you are making this really, really bad. So do yourself a huge favor. Don't use those interlocking tiles. Don't use cheap yoga mats that'll let water get right through. Use a waterproof trainer mat or something similar to it. Okay, so I hope you found that video informational, educational, maybe even a little entertaining. But if you want to take care of your bike, you just got to follow those few steps. It's pretty straightforward and pretty easy. But it's pretty easy to tear down your bike when it's sitting on the trainer. So just be careful of that. Follow these 5 steps, a couple bonus steps there, and you're going to be a lot happier when it comes time to ride in the spring. So thanks for stopping by. We got more video content on the way, and hope to see you soon. Feel free to leave some comments down below if you've got some additional tips you want to share. Maybe you don't like some of the tips that I've shared. I've apparently had some controversial statements lately, and I'm getting lots of comments, which I love. But share your tips, share your comments, share your arguments down below, and look forward to being able to respond to those. In the meantime, again, feel free to check out the rest of our channel for some good reviews and some race breakdowns and other trainer tips. And other than that, we'll see you soon. Smash that like button, that subscribe button, all of those things. See ya.